At number 10, Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X has been on a roll with his music lately, but with success comes a lot of attention, and when you get attention from the wrong people, bad things can happen. On March 26, 2021, Lil Nas X released his song Montero, or Call Me By Your Name, and both the song and subsequent music video was hit with a lot of backlash. The song itself was about a man he met in 2020 who was living a lifestyle of partying and using substances, who he was seeing. The song included some adult themes, as it would, but the majority of the backlash for this release came from the rapper's music video. The video had a heaven and hell theme and included Nas dancing for the devil, so to speak. A lot of people didn't like the video because of how raunchy it was and because of the biblical imagery and themes. But as if that wasn't enough backlash, Nas also got into some pretty big trouble when he released a collaborative shoe with Mischief that they called the Satan shoe. These kicks were a redesign of the Nike Air Max 97s, and because this design wasn't authorized by Nike, Nas and Mischief got in trouble. They also faced backlash for putting a quote, single drop of human blood in the sole of the shoe. For a couple of weeks, Nas faced all kinds of backlash, but he did not let that knock him down. At number 9, Kim K and Kanye. Another scandal that unfolded this year was the breakup between Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. After getting married in 2014 and welcoming 4 kids together, the couple decided to end their marriage, and it had everyone talking. Kim and Kanye's relationship looked like it had been on its last leg for a while, especially after all the drama between Kanye and the Kardashians following his presidential campaign rant and Twitter meltdowns, and all the statements that the Kardashians had to make on Kanye's behalf. There was, however, a lot more going on behind the scenes that we didn't quite know about, and as this information started coming out, the scandal just got bigger. Every episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians was just another opportunity to fans to dig deeper into Kim's failing marriage and to see where things really went wrong. Since the initial announcement, things have died down a bit, but as more information comes out, like Kanye seeing someone new, fans hop right back on that tea spill train. Now before I carry on with the list, I would like to take a moment to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and also consider taking some time to check out my gaming channel Viper Girl. It's super fun and I upload daily, so come check it out and subscribe while you're there. At number 8, Armie Hammer. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this scandal by now, but this one had to be on this list because it was the first one that really blew up this year and it had everyone talking as it involved a more serious issue. Back in January, some of Armie's private messages with other women came to light depicting the actor in a not so flattering way. The messages leaked by the Instagram page House of Effie exposed the actor for his bedroom fantasies among other adult things and created a snowball effect that led to people coming forward with their own allegations of misconduct against the actor. Things took a serious turn and soon an investigation was launched into some of the claims made by some of Armie's alleged victims. Because of the scandal and its severity, this took a huge toll on Armie and his career. As we know, no one is quick to forget a scandal like this in the world of Hollywood, and so as a result of the drama and allegations against him, Armie started losing everything he worked for, including movie roles and representation in the industry. No one knows what the next step is for him, or even if there is a next step for him to take. At number 7, Marilyn Manson. Another really huge scandal that happened this year came from singer Marilyn Manson, and it shocked a lot of people. It all started when his ex-partner, actress Evan Rachel Wood, came forward in an Instagram post to name Manson as someone who had harmed her for a long time. In her statement, Evan cited how manipulative Marilyn was, accused him of brainwashing her, and told her fans about how Manson caused her so much mental, physical, and emotional pain. This caused more people to come forward later on, including Game of Thrones actress Esme Bianco, who came forward with some horrible encounters that she had with Manson. Following this scandal, Manson was dropped from his music label, and the LA County Sheriff's Department began an investigation into some of the allegations against the singer. Manson has hit rock bottom in his career and social status, which honestly seems only fair given the pain that he's caused so many other people. At number 6, Chris Harrison. What's reality TV without a little scandal, right? I mean, with every season of The Bachelor or Bachelorette, there's at least one scandal, but this time was different because it was much more serious and it led to someone losing their job. The show's longtime host Chris Harrison landed himself in some hot water this year after he started facing backlash for comments that he made about one of the contestants' past. At the beginning of the Bachelor season earlier this year, photos of one of the Bachelor contestants were leaked which showed her in a few compromising situations, specifically of her attending an antebellum themed party, and many fans saw this as highly offensive and racist. When this scandal first broke, a conversation was obviously sparked, but when asked about his take on the situation, Chris ended up offending people as he responded saying that it was just in the past. In an interview on Extra with former Bachelor/Bachelorette contestant Rachel Lindsay, when asked about this contestant's controversial photos, Chris seemingly was dismissive of her actions, of her being at this party, and continued to try and defend his stance by saying that he didn't want to make any comments before the contestant in question had spoken out first. Instead of helping the situation, fans of the show saw this as perpetuating racism, and so he was cancelled. As a result of this, Chris was let go from the show, and many are under the impression that he will not be returning anytime soon, if at all. At number 5, Chrissy Teigen. For Chrissy Teigen, the internet hasn't been the greatest place to be after she got cancelled for bullying Courtney Love when they were younger. Chrissy had some old tweets and DMs leaked which showed some very offensive messages to Courtney from back when they were still a teenager. Courtney rose to fame after they married Doug Hutchison when they were still very young, and this sparked international attention and also seemingly saw Chrissy turn into a very mean person as they allegedly sent a number of hateful messages to Courtney. Courtney spoke out about how they received such hateful messages from Chrissy, where they said that these hateful messages and harassment that they received from Chrissy back then came during a very hard time in their life and didn't really help them navigate the pain that they were feeling at the time. Chrissy has since apologized to Courtney for her actions, but after seeing many of the messages and tweets, a lot of fans aren't quick to forget what Chrissy has done. Chrissy has even started losing work because of this, so this scandal isn't done affecting her life just yet. At number 4, DaBaby. This one is still fairly new, but rapper DaBaby is the latest celebrity to be cancelled, and this controversy comes after he said some pretty offensive things while on stage performing at Rolling Loud in Miami. While on stage, the rapper made some comments about the gay community as well as HIV and AIDS, calling it a quote, deadly sexually transmitted disease that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks, end quote. He also went on to say some more homophobic things about gay men to add fuel to the fire. Celebrities like Dua Lipa and Elton John have condemned the rapper's comments and tried to educate the public on what DaBaby said, how it was wrong, and are trying to educate the public specifically on HIV and AIDS to put the stigma spread by DaBaby's comments to rest. Because of the scandal, the rapper is in some deep trouble with a lot of fans, especially those in the LGBT community. At number 3, Bill and Melinda Gates. Another celebrity breakup that caused quite the scandal was that between Bill and Melinda Gates. The Microsoft co-founder and his philanthropist wife recently announced to the public that they had made the difficult decision to separate, ending their marriage of 27 years. Together, the couple have 3 adult children and even created a foundation together which they launched back in 2000. The couple released a statement on social media that read, quote, "After a great deal of thought and a lot of work in our relationship, we have made the decision to end our marriage. Over the last 27 years, we have raised 3 incredible children and built a foundation that works all over the world to enable people to live healthy, productive lives. We continue to share a belief in that mission, but we no longer believe we can grow together as a couple in the next phase of our lives." After they announced their separation, people started wondering why they called it quits, and it was alleged that this idea to divorce started years ago as Melinda put things in order to leave her husband after he got too close to Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of drama and scandal came out of a simple divorce, but we'll just have to wait and see what's next. At number 2, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Earlier this year, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry sat down for an exclusive interview with Oprah where they went in depth about their split from the royal family as well as their feelings of having been a part of it. A lot of information was shared as they opened up a lot about their life, and it ended up causing quite the controversy. The couple spoke a lot about their perspective in the royal family, speaking out about their mental health, and Meghan even opened up saying that there was a time where she wanted to take her own life. That last comment is what really caused a stir as people started questioning her mental health and whether that statement was actually true or not. The biggest debate came from TV presenter Piers Morgan, and he had a lot to say about Meghan and the interview, so much so that he ended up losing his job because he went overboard with the criticisms and hate. This interview was just supposed to be a casual thing, but because of all the information that was shared that day, it blew up into a huge scandal that was in the news for weeks. And finally, at number 1, Britney Spears. Probably the biggest scandal to come out this year is the Free Britney movement and the drama surrounding her conservatorship. Basically, after that Britney Spears documentary was released months ago, people really got to see what Britney's life was like behind the scenes and how the people around her led to where she is today. The biggest concern with this movement is regarding her conservatorship, as the public learned what the singer can and cannot do. Many people are saying that this hold on her life is too extreme, and there's a battle to get her out of her conservatorship held by her father Jamie. It seems as though every week there is a development in that whole battle, but hopefully the next development we see is a truly free Britney.
Starting off this list, we got number 10, DaBaby. Rapper DaBaby has been going through a cancellation after he made some homophobic comments while performing. While he was on stage, the rapper said in part, quote, "If you didn't show up today with HIV/AIDS, any of them deadly STDs that'll make you die in 2 or 3 weeks, put your cell phone light up." adding that ladies can put their cell phone lights up if their privates, quote, smell like water, going on to make derogatory comments about men hooking up in the parking lot. After those comments were made, the rapper faced backlash from fellow performers as well as fans. The rapper was supposed to be headlining the final day of Lollapalooza, but after the comments, the festival dropped him, along with a number of other festivals since then. DaBaby has made countless statements, seemingly apologies since the incident, but none have felt very sincere, so his career has taken a big hit. And at number 9, Khloe Kardashian. Khloe broke the internet when it was revealed that an unedited photo of her was going viral online. Even worse, after the photo started to gain traction, Khloe got lawyers involved and hired an entire team to scour the internet to remove the photo. But obviously you can't stop the internet from spreading things around, and the harder that Khloe tried to remove the photo, the bigger the story got. The photo in question shows Khloe in a bikini by a pool without any makeup or airbrushing. After the story got too big to ignore, Khloe's camp released a statement saying, quote, "The color edited photo was taken of Khloe during a private family gathering and posted to social media without permission by mistake by an assistant." However, we learned later that her grandma MJ is actually the one that posted the photo, so that makes everything just even more sad. And at number 8, Jamie Lynn Spears. Jamie Lynn Spears has been getting dragged online recently, with Britney's fans attacking her. After Britney recently made a lot of negative comments about her family, even specifically calling out Jamie Lynn in some of them, it's clear Britney despises her entire family, including her younger sister. After Jamie Lynn started getting hate, she responded, quote, "Maybe I didn't support her the way the public would like me to with a hashtag on a public platform, but I can assure you that I've supported my sister long before there was a hashtag, and I'll support her long after." But Britney has been clapping back. In one caption, Britney wrote, quote, "I don't like that my sister showed up at an awards show and performed my songs to remixes. My so-called support system hurt me deeply. This conservatorship killed my dreams." Jamie Lynn recently posted a video of herself crying to her Instagram. In the audio, you can hear her 3-year-old daughter comforting her, which has been called very cringy because it kind of is. And at number 7, frenemies. Ethan Klein and Trisha Paytas were classic frenemies. Their relationship started off with them hating one another, but over time they blossomed to be basically best friends. Their dynamic was so interesting to watch, they even created a podcast together called Frenemies. The podcast was extremely successful, but their friendship didn't last long, and it seemed that Trisha would quit the podcast every month. After the 3rd time Trish quit, Ethan had enough and cut her from the podcast. Ethan is still doing the podcast, but now with his family instead, calling it Families. And at number 6, Kanye West. Kanye West has been hyping up the release of his latest album called Donda, and all of his fans were incredibly excited for new music. But that excitement has faded now that Kanye has delayed the album 2 weeks in a row. Kanye keeps having listening parties for the album to announce the release, but before he does, he decides to delay it another week to perfect it. Kanye's even went so far as to live in Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz Stadium while he's working on it. He now says he refuses to leave until the album is complete, and since has posted a photo of his new digs on Instagram, it seems that he's sticking by his word. Kanye now claims the album will be released this Friday, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Halfway at number 5, Ace Family lawsuits. The Ace family is currently caught up in multiple lawsuits. Austin's boxing company, Social Gloves, was being sued for not paying fighters for their boxing event. Then a company that partnered with Social Gloves on the event, Live X Live, sued Austin for a whopping $100 million for defamation. This is most likely relating to Austin's earlier statement that the reason boxers were not being paid was because Live X Live was withholding the funds. To refresh you on the McBroom family's other lawsuits, Austin's company Ace Hat Productions is also getting sued, along with Catherine, Austin's wife, being sued by one of her former business partners over their beauty products. On top of all of this, apparently the couple is also being evicted from their $7 million mansion. Apparently they haven't been paying their mortgage either. And at number 4, Courtney Love. Courtney Love decided to go after music's new it girl, Olivia Rodrigo, and Courtney definitely embarrassed herself in the process. After Olivia posted some photos to promote her Sour Prom, Courtney felt the photos were very similar to her band Hole's album cover, and made sure Olivia knew. Courtney shared a side-by-side of Olivia's photo and the album cover, with the caption, quote, "Spot the difference, #twinning. Rodrigo responded in the comments, quote, "Love you and lived through this so much." But I guess Olivia didn't seem to get the memo, so Love added, quote, "Olivia, you're welcome. My favorite florist is in Notting Hill, London. DM me for deets. I look forward to reading your note." Essentially saying that Courtney was looking for some sort of apology. Courtney responded to some other comments on the photo saying that she's not mad, but it was just in bad taste and rude of Olivia. I think someone needs to tell Courtney that she doesn't own the prom girl aesthetic, especially since the movie Carrie basically did it first. At least I think so. And at number 3, Matt Damon. Matt Damon just had a case of instant regret. Basically, during an interview he shared a story about how his daughter urged him to stop using the F slur as it's homophobic. Damon claims that he only used it as a joke and never in a harmful manner, but that his daughter's words resonated with him, so he decided to stop. But that instantly backfired, with people calling out the star for ever saying it in the first place. So then the actor tried to clear the air and clarify that he never actually said the F word in the first place, he only heard it back when he was a kid. Damon said, quote, "I've never called anyone the F slur in my personal life, and this conversation with my daughter was not a personal awakening. I do not use slurs of any kind." But I don't really think anyone believes that's true. And at number 2, Chrissy Teigen. If you guys remember, Chrissy Teigen went through a massive cancellation after it was revealed that she bullied multiple other celebrities over the years, even coming after children at some points. All of her unearthed tweets were incredibly disgusting and made the entire internet turn on her. Chrissy decided to leave the internet for an undisclosed amount of time to reflect on her words and actions. But the time that she decided to take away only turned out to be a measly 23 days. She couldn't even pretend that she was actually going to change her ways and work on herself. Her return to the internet was not taken well, and many of her fans have stopped supporting her. And finally, at number 1, Jensen Karp. You might recall the infamous shrimp tails that were found in a box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch covered in the cinnamon. The man who posted it to the internet, Jensen Karp, is a comedian and was a public figure already, but after the viral tweet, his fame exploded. People even learned he was once married to Topanga from Boy Meets World. After the internet exposed the alleged shrimp tails, the world was in a debate over whether or not the whole thing was real. But that quickly changed when multiple women came forward, showing that Jensen was a toxic and manipulative partner who is a known liar. Nobody knows what happened to the alleged shrimp tails, but his reputation took a huge hit.
At number 10, Sia. Singer-songwriter and Grammy winner Sia faced some pretty serious backlash following the release of her feature film Music, starring Maddie Ziegler. The film is about a young, non-verbal girl on the autism spectrum, and though the film brought in decent amounts of success, a lot of other people took offense to it. Those in the autism community especially have had a lot of negative things to say about the film and its content, with their biggest complaint being the fact that the lead role wasn't given to someone on the autism spectrum. The role instead went to Maddie Ziegler, who's worked closely with Sia for many years. Sia defended her casting choice by saying that Maddie was simply just the best fit for the role, but some fans have been holding the singer accountable for not providing proper representation for the community. Other than the backlash that came with the casting choice, Sia also faced scrutiny for some triggering content and for the portrayal of a type of restraint in the film. The overall thought was that the film seemed to glorify the experience of being on the autism spectrum, which many people took offense to. I guess you could say that in a way she crossed the line with the film because she didn't do a good enough job representing an entire community, and because this film included some pretty triggering content as well. At number 9, Marilyn Manson. I'm sure that by now you are all familiar with what went down with Marilyn Manson earlier this year. The singer was exposed for having hurt a number of his former partners, and some of the information that's come out detailing some of his actions really show how much he crossed the line with these women. It all started when actress Evan Rachel Wood posted a statement to her Instagram calling Marilyn out for hurting her while they were together. In the statement, Evan called Marilyn manipulative and even brought up how he brainwashed her and caused her so much pain while they were together. Sadly, Evan isn't the only person who's come forward with horrible stories about the singer. Another public figure who's come forward is Game of Thrones actress Esme Bianco, who told sources about some of the things that she endured while with him. Now, because he crossed this line following this scandal, Marilyn was dropped from his music label, and an investigation was launched by the LA County Sheriff's Department looking into some of the allegations against the singer. Now, before I carry on with the list, I would like to take a moment to ask you guys to consider leaving a big old thumbs up if you're doing so far. Your likes mean a lot to us and help to support the channel, so I want to see those thumbs going way up. At number 8, Justin Timberlake. After all these years, people are now starting to realize that Justin Timberlake isn't as innocent as we all once thought. After the Framing Britney Spears documentary came out this year, it opened a lot of people's eyes and showed the public how Justin crossed the line after he ended his relationship with Britney back in the day. Justin essentially got exposed for the way he handled his high-profile breakup with Britney, and fans dragged him forward, asking him to apologize for his actions and take accountability. The documentary looked into the way that Britney was portrayed in the media, from the paparazzi to interviews, and it takes an in-depth look into how this stardom affected her, and a big part of the documentary explored Justin Timberlake's role in the media's mistreatment of Britney after their public breakup in 2002, showing that after their relationship ended, Justin made Britney look like a villain in the relationship, accusing her of cheating and essentially weaponizing their breakup to boost his career. This prompted the media to point fingers at Britney and put a lot of pressure and blame on the singer, who really didn't deserve all of that negative attention. He crossed the line by making Britney look like the villain in the relationship when in reality she did nothing wrong. At number 7, Sharon Osbourne. We are often reminded how powerful our words can be. Our words can incite change, but it can also hurt others, and this is how talk show host Sharon Osbourne found herself in some hot water earlier this year. After making some comments about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, Sharon faced backlash and crossed the line by making the harsh comments that she did. This all went down on The View as Sharon Osbourne and Cheryl Underwood got into a heated argument surrounding Piers Morgan's remarks about Meghan Markle. During this feud, Sharon backed up Pierce's comments about Meghan's mental health, and this frustrated Cheryl because she didn't like the comments that were being made about those involved. This was a very heated debate, and it got even bigger, and this prompted an internal investigation after it was alleged that Sharon had been making disrespectful comments about her fellow hosts. She definitely crossed the line when she started disrespecting her co-workers, but in the end she was fired and promptly cancelled online. At number 6, James Charles. When you have an inappropriate relationship with someone, you're definitely crossing a line. Beauty YouTuber James Charles has certainly crossed that line, as he's been caught having a few inappropriate relationships with some of his fans under the age of 18. James has faced backlash for this sort of thing, but yet he continues to get caught. Recently, James was hit with backlash after it was discovered that he had solicited private photos from a fan who turned out to be under the age of 18. James was exposed by said fan on social media, where they showed off the messages and photos sent to each other over the period of time that they had been talking. This happened in late February, but a similar event happened just a few weeks prior to this incident, after another young man came forward exposing James and recounting how he and James had been having explicit conversations on Snapchat. The fact that James keeps crossing this line and keeps getting caught says a lot about him, and people are starting to catch on to this, as in recent weeks, James not only lost his collaboration with Morphe, but he also lost out on a web series hosting job, and his channel got demonetized by YouTube. Guess that's what happens when you overstep. At number 5, Armie Hammer. The story of Armie Hammer has evolved a bit over the course of the year. At first, this scandal consisted of some DMs being leaked, but it turned out that this leak was only the beginning and became a catalyst for what came next. The world found out about how Armie crossed the line on a few occasions with a handful of women, and an investigation was even launched by the LAPD to look into these claims. One person even came forward to talk about what they endured when with Armie, and in their statement they spoke about how the actor had harmed them on a mental, physical, and emotional level during their relationship. They also told sources about how Armie had gotten physical with them and forced them to do things that they weren't comfortable doing. This was a serious line to cross, and as a result, Armie has pretty much lost everything from his talent agency to his publicist and a number of movie roles as well. At number 4, James Corden. Recently, TV host James Corden was caught crossing the line when it came to his comedy and commentary on his Late Show, but more specifically in regards to his Spill Your Guts segment. Fans have been calling for James to take accountability after he made some comments about some Asian foods that he had on the show that some fans saw as taking things too far. Because the foods that they use in the Spill Your Guts segment are supposed to be ones that you wouldn't want to eat, the fact that some Asian foods like balut were used and called quote disgusting made a lot of people speak up about it and took to the internet to call for accountability and an apology from James Corden. Apparently, people have pointed out that this behavior from James has been going on for quite a while, meaning that he's crossed this line before. Some have even created a petition calling for the removal of the Spill Your Guts segment, so this just shows how much trouble James seems to be in with his fans. At number 3, David Letterman. David Letterman was recently met with a little bit of cancellation from the internet after some old interviews resurfaced online which showed David crossing a line with his guests on his late night show. First, Letterman was met with backlash for asking insensitive questions to Lindsay Lohan during their 2013 interview where they spoke about her addiction and struggles in rehab. Once people clued into how unsettling this interview was, people went digging and found another interview that showed David being inappropriate and going a little too far. A 1998 Late Show interview with Jennifer Aniston was brought to light which showed Letterman sucking on Jennifer's hair. The clip shows Letterman moving his chair behind the actress and putting her hair in his mouth, then later giving her a napkin to wipe it off. After this incident, she looks very uncomfortable, later saying that she was traumatized by the whole thing. This clip exposed David for his inappropriate and uncomfortable actions, with many people calling for accountability to be taken. He certainly crossed a line with his guests by making them feel uncomfortable. At number 2, Dr. Phil. After years of staying silent on the matter, rapper Bad Baby, aka Danielle Bregoli, recently came forward about alleged physical reprimandation that she sustained at a reform camp that she was sent to after being on Dr. Phil's show. Danielle posted a video to her YouTube channel opening up about what she experienced, detailing how staff at the camp called Turnabout Ranch treated her and other kids, saying that she was taken from her home in the middle of the night, handcuffed, and wasn't allowed to sleep or shower for 3 days. She also said that staff used restraints on people and some people claimed to have been assaulted while there. Danielle exposed Dr. Phil for recommending such a terrible place and demanded that he apologize to her and anyone else he sent there. Turnabout Ranch is described as a quote, boot camp for troubled teens, and Dr. Phil has recommended parents send their kids to this facility for help with their troubled behavior. Knowing what horrible things have happened at that facility, Dr. Phil certainly crossed the line big time when he decided to recommend this place for parents to send their kids. And finally, at number 1, Chrissy Teigen. Chrissy Teigen has been simmering in some hot water for a little while now, as she was recently exposed for some of her offensive past tweets and DMs. These alleged posts seem to show Chrissy publicly bullying a then 16-year-old Courtney Stodden. Courtney, who rose to fame after they married Doug Hutchison when they were still a teenager, sparked international attention after getting married and seemingly saw Chrissy turn dark as she allegedly sent a number of hateful messages to Courtney. Courtney spoke out about how they received such hateful messages from Chrissy, where they said, quote, I think for me, because I experienced so much harassment and bullying from her when I was just 16 years old, just 17 years old, just 18 years old, at a time when I needed help, like I was being abused, end quote. Chrissy has since apologized to Courtney for her actions, but if you've read the messages that Chrissy sent, you would really see how she crossed the line there. Courtney has carried those messages with them for years, and if you knew what they said, then you would certainly understand why. At number 10, Simon Cowell. Simon Cowell is known to most as the record executive responsible for signing One Direction, Little Mix, and many other successful music artists. He's also known for being a judge on The X Factor, American Idol, and America's Got Talent, so you no doubt know who he is. Simon has been known for being the mean judge on these talent shows, but now Simon is being exposed for his music label being toxic and abusive. John and Edward Grimes, better known in the music world as Jedward, went on a tweeting spree earlier this year as they spilled the beans on Simon Cowell and his record label Psycho, where they made allegations that they've been taking advantage of their artists for years. This isn't a new thing, however, as the label has been blasted by other artists like Cher Lloyd and Rebecca Ferguson as they've spoken out about the conditions that they've had to work under while under contract. In their tweets, Jedward praised One Direction, calling them survivors because of what they've had to endure. This whole rant started when they were given One Direction's contract by accident, and after reading it fully, they decided to expose Simon and his label because of how unfair the contract really was. Judging by how many times Simon has been called out for the treatment of his artists and the reaction from Jedward after reading One Direction's contract, I think it's safe to say that Simon definitely went too far with this one and crossed the line with his artists. At number 9, Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X has been finding a lot of success recently, but he's also found himself in some hot water as well. Back in March of this year, Lil Nas X released his song Montero, or Call Me By Your Name, and both the song and subsequent music video was hit with a ton of backlash. The song included some adult themes, as it would because this is a kids bop, but the majority of the backlash for this release came from the rapper's music video. The video had a heaven and hell theme and included Nas doing some adult dancing for the devil, so to speak. A lot of people, especially some political figures, didn't like the video because of how raunchy it was, and because of the biblical imagery, and themes, as they said it was offensive and corrupting young audiences. But to add to that backlash, Nas also got into some pretty big trouble when he released a collaborative shoe with Mischief that they called the Satan shoe. These sneakers were a redesign of the Nike Air Max 97s, and because this design wasn't authorized by Nike, Nas and Mischief got into some pretty big trouble. They also faced backlash for putting a quote, single drop of human blood in the sole of the shoe. A lot of people thought Nas crossed a line with this whole release, but others saw this as just pure creativity. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts down in the comments. Now before I carry on with the list, I would like to ask you guys to consider leaving a big ol' thumbs up on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and also consider checking out my gaming channel Viper Girl if gameplay content is something that you're interested in. At number 8, Piers Morgan. One person who people really think crossed a line this year is TV presenter Piers Morgan, because a lot of people thought his harsh comments about Meghan Markle were uncalled for and aggressive. After Meghan and Prince Harry did their interview with Oprah, everyone was talking about what was said. The inside scoop that the public got on life in the royal family was a bombshell in itself, but when it came to the information Meghan shared about her mental health, that's where things got messy because people just love having an opinion on other people's mental well-being. Piers went about sharing his opinions on Meghan's well-being on air of Good Morning Britain, and he said, quote, that he didn't believe a word that she said. After Piers made those harsh comments, he started to face massive backlash from all sides, as people said that his comments on Meghan's mental health were diminishing and disrespectful, some even saying that his comments were fueled by sexism and racism. The studio he worked for, as well as Piers himself, started receiving harsh comments, and so he actually decided to leave his position at Good Morning Britain. Since then, Piers has said that he refuses to apologize for his actions and has been cancelled for it. At number 7, Ben Stiller. Recently, actor Ben Stiller, known for his roles in Meet the Fockers and Night at the Museum, has been facing backlash online for his comments on nepotism in Hollywood, and some people think that he crossed a line. This all happened after it was announced that a big budget film was being made by Sean Penn's son, Steven Spielberg's daughter, and Stephen King's son. Basically, the film is being made by the kids of some of the biggest names in Hollywood. One person pointed out that most of the success in Hollywood is given to people with big names or pre-existing fame, showing that smaller creators in the industry don't make it as big as those who already have a leg up in the field. Ben Stiller hit back by saying that Hollywood is made up of people who have talent, not necessarily because of their connections, and people just had to point out how hypocritical his comments were because Ben himself is the son of another big Hollywood name. This really just became a conversation about privilege in Hollywood, and because of Ben's comments, he's been facing mass scrutiny. Do you think that Ben crossed the line here? Let me know. At number 6, Anthony Mackie. Marvel actor Anthony Mackie faced some backlash earlier this year when a resurfaced interview caused fans to seek accountability for some of the comments that he made regarding women. The interview in question was a clip from an old Wendy Williams spot where he was heard making sexist remarks, saying that a woman's role is to, quote, make daddy a sandwich. During his interview, Anthony and Wendy were having a conversation about the idea of gender roles in a relationship, and Anthony's responses were seen as crossing the line. In the interview, Anthony also went on to defend this mentality of women needing to serve their partners, giving an example saying, quote, you better believe it, so you make daddy a sandwich. If I'm outside cutting the grass, bring daddy some lemonade. It's hot outside and I'm cutting all this grass. A lot of fans were taken aback by the actor's comments, calling them sexist and misogynistic, and resulting in the actor facing minor cancellation on social media. His cancellation didn't really stick as he bounced back thanks to the popularity that came from the Disney Plus series Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but people still exposed him and his actions and held him accountable. At number 5, Kim Kardashian. Kim K seems to have a hard time with naming her brands because she's facing backlash yet again for trying to trademark a name that has pretty much already been taken. Kim was trying to trademark the name Skin, spelled S-K-K-N, but it turns out that there's another brand called Skin Plus, spelled the same way, and the company has sent Kim a cease and desist as a result of this branding drama. Skin Plus is a black-owned business that has been around since 2018, and they sell beauty products, as does Kim, so these two brands are clashing, and some fans have been thinking that Kim has crossed the line with this one, believing that she's trying to steamroll this other business. Skin Plus's attorneys released a statement saying that they are doubtful that Kim and her legal team were unaware of this other brand, which has people feeling a little uneasy about this whole debate. What are your thoughts on this? Leave your opinions down in the comments. At number 4, David Dobrik. Earlier this year, YouTuber and former Viner David Dobrik was caught in a massive scandal on the platform that derailed his career for a while. He was one of the most popular creators on the platform, until this scandal blew up his career online. David's popularity has since fallen after people started coming forward with allegations of assault and bullying against David, as well as his Vlog Squad friends. Former members of David's YouTube friend group also came forward calling David out for bullying and creating a toxic environment, as well as orchestrating pranks that resulted in one friend getting assaulted, and on top of that, a former fan also came forward naming a Vlog Squad member as a person who assaulted them while they were under the influence, and also exposed David for filming part of the alleged. This was certainly a case of crossing a line because of how many people were hurt by David's actions. He's made several apology videos and most of the heat has died down, but many fans say that they won't see the YouTuber the same way after this scandal. At number 3, Butch Hartman. Butch Hartman, the artist known for creating popular Nickelodeon shows like Fairly OddParents and Danny Phantom, was exposed by fans online after Twitter users accused him of plagiarizing another artist's work. Butch has been doing commissioned drawings for fans for the last little while, and when completed, he sometimes posts some of them on social media to show off what he's been creating as a way of promoting his services to his followers, but recently one of his commissioned posts was used to expose the artist for plagiarism. One fan noticed that one of his posts, where he did a drawing of a character from the anime Attack on Titan, looked a little too familiar until they realized that Butch had plagiarized this drawing. Butch profited off the stolen artwork of another artist and sold this piece for a pretty hefty price, as he would normally sell a commissioned piece like this for around $200, so to find out that someone has been profiting so much off stolen work is a huge no-no. It was also revealed that this isn't the first time he's been caught plagiarizing artwork, so not only has he crossed the line once, but he's done it multiple times. At number 2, DaBaby. Rapper DaBaby is currently one of the latest celebrities to be cancelled online, and it seems to be getting worse for him as he crossed the line after he said some pretty offensive things while on stage performing at Rolling Loud in Miami. While on stage, the rapper made some comments about the gay community as well as HIV and AIDS, calling it a quote, deadly sexually transmitted disease that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks. He also went on to say some more homophobic things about gay men that also added fuel to the fire. Celebrities like Dua Lipa and Elton John have condemned the rapper's comments and have tried to educate the public on how what the rapper said was wrong and damaging, and many have been trying to educate the public specifically on HIV and AIDS to put the stigma spread by DaBaby's comments to rest. The rapper's cancellation has also affected his social standing, as he was recently fired from the governor's ball because of his offensive comments. And finally at number 1, Billie Eilish. Fans of Billie Eilish have been seen holding the Grammy winner accountable after a video resurfaced showing them mouthing an Asian slur in a song, imitating an Asian accent, and quote, using a black scent. Billie took accountability for these actions and issued an apology, but the singer also started facing backlash after another video resurfaced that had people calling for accountability again. The video in question was an interview from when she was younger, where she was talking about her favorite cartoon character from a show called The Boondocks. This character was based on the theme of white women profiting off black culture, and when Billie said that she related to this character, fans weren't happy. She seems to have crossed the line a couple times recently, and a lot of people are pointing out how all of Billie's insensitive actions are being exposed all at once, and as she faces hit after hit, it seems to be affecting her career, but since she's still riding the wave of success from her newest album drop, we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens with the singer.